Oh no, Kyle. It happened again.
What happened, Mike?
Shrinkage.
Oh no.
I'm Mike Johnson.
I'm Kyle Getz.
This is Gayish.
We're here. We're doing a thing. This is a shrinkage.
Yeah, we do one every several hundred episodes.
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
But we have Jesse Swirl with us here, who is one of the people behind Friends of Denny-Blaine, which is the park that I talked about in our Nude Beaches episode a while back. How long ago was that?
I have no idea. I literally could not tell you what we did last week, much less how many episodes ago Nude Beaches was.
That's true. That's true. But there's a beach here in Seattle going through a bunch of shit with the land developer and the mayor, and Jesse's going to explain that whole thing.
Yeah, but let's start with, before any of this kind of arose, talk about what the park was to you and what your experience was of it previous to any kind of issues arising.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on.
Sure.
I will say that Denny-Blaine, or Daikiki as some call it, holds a special place. I know it is a name that I've heard many people use, and I sometimes use it. But yeah, it holds a special place in my heart. Back when I moved here in 2019, 2020, I made a lot of friends through this beach. I ended up officiating about 3 separate weddings, not at the beach, but through friends I've met at the beach. It's a cool, quirky place. You know, you'll have people handing out fruit, some people reading poetry. I sometimes have a naked knitting circle that I run there. And it's just a really cool, vibey place where I've made some of my best friends. And yeah, it's just it's an amazing place, and so it's recently under attack, and we've gotten engaged and organized.
Love an organization, fight the man. But it is City Park, yeah. It's a city land.
Yes, so Denny-Blaine Park has been a park since 1901, and it's part of Seattle's Olmsted Park system, and it is a nude beach. The first recorded skinny dipping was Ellsworth Story, who is an architect, back in 1932. So it goes way back. But in the 70s, a bunch of lesbians began going topless and naked, and the beach became known as Daikiki, a play on Waikiki. So, yeah. And so in the late 2010s, it began being especially important to the transgender and binary community here in Seattle. And it's one of the very few places where people of all genders can exist safely in their bodies. And, you know, we've just encountered a lot of trouble with the neighbors, where they announced the building of a playground, and the city ended up repealing that decision and not following that path. But yeah, we've just been encountering different obstacles, and now we have a lawsuit that the city is being sued for to close the beach.
Backing up just a little bit, to my knowledge, Seattle has Denny-Blaine and then Howell Beach. Are there other beaches that are known for nudity? And what makes Denny-Blaine different than the other options that are out there?
Yes. Oh, okay. So it's really funny you bring up Howell. We usually don't. I know that a lot of the gays, we don't like to talk about Howell, because we say if you talk too loudly about Howell, they're going to come after us. But yeah, so what makes it stand out, I would say, is the eclectic community at Denny-Blaine. It's specifically, it's inclusive to the trans community, all genders. There's Howell. Those are the only 2 within city limits. There is a beach north of Seattle, and I don't even think it's actually a beach. You have to cross the railroads to get there. It's a different kind of beach. But the 2. It's very rare that a city has a beach within city limits. Usually you have to travel and trek far, far out. So Seattle is unique in that it has 2, and they are both queer beaches.
And you personally, do you define yourself as a nudist?
Yeah, I define myself as a nudist, a naturist, queer. Yeah, I love being naked in my body. I feel free. I really firmly believe that you shouldn't need to feel permission to feel natural in nature. And And it's not necessarily something that is sexual to me. When I feel like nudity, when it's treated as sexual, we lose one of the few ways where our body can just exist without performing. And one thing for me that I love about nudity is that it's not about being seen. It's about not having to hide.
I like that. And whenever you talk about queer people, gay people, like people on the right often immediately make it sexual.
Right.
And, you know, it's always like protecting kids for some reason because they're worried that like they're jumping right to the sex part. So I imagine you combine nude people and, you know, a queer space that people just assume that it's a sexual space. I mean, how sexual is this space?
Yeah, it's not sexual. I mean, I think there's some bad actors occasionally, but it's overblown. I think the issue is that we're in a society where we are told that nudity is only acceptable if it's sexualized or monetized, and existing comfortably in your own skin shouldn't require either of that. You know, we shouldn't have to perform in order to do something that is free. And being naked shouldn't cost a membership fee. You know, this is something that's free, accessible to everyone in an open space that in a town where it's not illegal, in a city where it's not illegal to be naked. Back in 1990, there was a court case called Johnson versus Seattle, which is kind of appropriate now I think about it, where it struck down any of these laws where you're not allowed to be naked. It's seen as a free speech issue, and as long as it's not lewd, you can be naked in public.
That's interesting. What is the legal definition of lewd, though? Right? I imagine, like, for some people, if it's left up to opinion, some people would think, "Oh, that's lewd. You showed a little too much ankle, or whatever." Right? Like,
yeah, the definition of lewd would be anything that causes an affront to another individual. So it is open to interpretation, and it's a little bit vague, which is why it's so important to set a precedent that they stop attacking us, you know, because this can become a precedent that is set and they start, you know, closing down our beach.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's get to the fight part,
Yeah,
Ben.
yeah.
So the beach, founded in 1901, there's naked people there as early as 1932, turns into Daikiki in the 1970s, grows as a place for trans and non-binary folks. Then when does the bullshit start? When
Oh yeah. Oh man. So imagine this. I'm working on my lunch break, and I get a text from a friend who goes to this beach, and they say, "What is this sign?" And it's a sign that says that they're announcing the building of a children's playground.
Oh.
And there's a hearing, and it says, you know, everyone's invited to come. And it's in the dead of winter, so none of us actually go. Who's going to get naked in the dead of winter, right? And I turned to my coworker, who is also queer, and I said, "Oh my God, do you believe this?" And she's like, "We gotta go to the news." And so I go and I call every local news organization, and they're just laughing us out. You know, it's a funny thing to some people because it's unfamiliar to them. But we ended up getting it reported, and about 400 people packed this community center out. And by this point, we knew that the city they knew they made a mistake. And only one person came to oppose it. She went up there, in support of it. She came out there and said, you know, if you all just chipped in $20, you could just start your own country club where nudity is allowed.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And just an uproar. People were outraged because there's little access to public land as it is. And public land is reserved not just for the wealthy, but for everyone. You don't just get to buy the view and control who is allowed in it, right? It's not a private backyard, and shoreline space is on the decline. So we were able to form as a group. The city and Seattle Parks Foundation became our fiscal sponsor. We created our own organization called Friends of Denny-Blaine. The neighbors created their own group called Denny-Blaine for all, with the goal to close the park. So I would think it would be Denny-Blaine for no one, but whatever, and it's just this huge legal battle. We have tried to deter bad actors by putting up signage, and the neighbors declined it. We were trying to deter masturbation, and they said, no, we don't want that because it acknowledges that this is a park where people can be naked at. And the city, we wanted to put up a sign that said this is a nude beach. The city said, basically something akin to, well, every beach in Seattle is a nude beach because you could be naked anywhere, right? And it turns out that the neighbor was texting the mayor, the old mayor, the previous mayor, and they colluded to get us closed. So they were trying to figure out different ways to do that. And now there's a lawsuit against the city where the neighbors are saying, hey, this is it's a public danger and we want to close this park down.
So the neighbors is the one suing the city. That's what the lawsuit is about, trying to get the park to be closed down.
Yes.
Okay.
And do what with it? Right? Like it just board it up, and now the city owns this land that people can't go on.
I mean, it's important to note that this is, I don't really know the logistics of it, but I know that this is donated for public use. So I don't know what could happen, I mean, it could be used. It could be used in multiple ways, but it won't be used for the public. It really we're just privatizing land left and right. And the Olmsted vision was shared access. So what we are doing as a community is asking the city to honor that. Wealthy people shouldn't be able to reshape public land and then make the public land stop being public.
Yeah. You mentioned 400 people showing up to this hearing. What is it about this park that can draw 400? Getting 10 people to do any one thing is like pulling teeth, much less getting 400 people to care. Like, what is it about this that makes people so passionate?
This is one of the very few nude beaches in the world that trans and gender nonconforming people can feel safe. This beach isn't recreational. It's affirming. There are very few places in the world where trans people can exist in their body without explanation. And this is one of those places. And so we stood up, we got activated, and we spoke up because this is about public land and who gets to use it.
Yeah, and I was just thinking, like, how many queer spaces, free queer spaces exist in general? Because, like, I mean, you can go into bars. I get alcohol-free queer spaces. Is what I'm thinking. Like,
yeah, no, that's exactly right. It's we have membership fees for everything. You can't just go to a bar. I mean, I guess you can, but you don't just go to a bar and sit there all day and don't buy anything. This is for everyone. It's for rich. It's for poor, and you don't have to be naked to go there. You could just exist in your own clothing or in your own skin. And honestly, what people understand is when you remove clothing, you remove status, and what's left is just people. And that's why this space is important.
That's interesting. It is an equalizer, right? That's why a lot of schools have school uniforms, so that like the kids don't have to deal with like who's got the fancier shoes or whatever.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's important to note that bodies are often forced to justify themselves. Here, no one asks what you are, how much you make, who you are. You just are.
So Friends of Denny-Blaine, like, is it a membership? Like, do people sign up to belong to the organization? How big of an organization are we talking?
So we're in the early stages of development. We're formalizing. We are incorporating right now, but it's a loose organization that began on Telegram as a result of the playground that they were building. A lot of furries got together, and furries love Telegram, and they created a Telegram chat, and I'd say about maybe 300 people are on this chat. It's a really big chat, and through that group, we elect our members. I'm one of the co-leads. I'm not our members. We elect our co-leads, and I'm one of those co-leads. We have about 4 co-leads and 3 other individuals who help out, who also help lead. And so we are in early development, but passionate. So we do have a way to distribute info.
What is your vision for this organization? What is your goal, and what do you hope to accomplish by forming it and leading it?
I hope to accomplish an organization that protects this space and tends to the land, because there is very little beach access. There's very little access to parks where people can literally touch the water. And we want to be responsible and organized and steward the land for the next generation, because this park is a park of many generations of queer people. It actually predates the neighbors who live there. Yeah. So we just want to honor that history and move it forward with an organization that can sustain itself.
Yeah, that's an interesting point that we haven't mentioned yet, is like these neighbors moved in presumably being aware of what they were moving. This park didn't form up around them. They were moving to a space that already existed.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. And that's it's really a play on, they're saying, oh, it's a nuisance and all that stuff. But, we've been here, and in an age of where gentrification is just pushing people out, what's happening here is erasure, and first they start by saying, hey, you don't belong here. And sooner or later, it was as if we were never there.
Yeah. When I bought this house, I did see that the park across the street is on Sniffies.
Nice.
It's sort of on me.
I'm like, sweet, easy access. I'm within walking distance of Volunteer Park, so yeah, that's pretty great.
Girl, yeah.
That's a different Friends of Volunteer Park. I'm starting it up.
Yeah.
No, don't tell the streets about Volunteer Park.
Yeah,
I don't want them to know.
So whose fucking idea was it to have a playground then? Like, was that in order to get the beach to change, or like, was it nefarious, or was it just people are like, hey, a playground would be awesome?
So Stuart Sloan was the one who donated $500,000.
Mm-hmm.
And I assume he worked with some of the neighbors who wanted it to make life inconvenient for us, right? Mm-hmm. And you had to see this playground. It looked like, honestly, I could build a playground that looks better. It's on a beach. They didn't want to have a lifeguard posted, so it wasn't about the children.
Okay.
And it was the mayor and Stuart Sloan texted each other and said, we want to do this to kick these individuals out, and to get people to understand that this was not about children. It was a little difficult, because as a queer person, I know when I hear children, I know what that's code for.
Yeah.
The for the children argument's always the first one that's made before erasure. And so it was an intentional fight to remove us. And it took up a big portion of the park. And they haven't stopped. They submitted an abatement plan through the city because of this lawsuit that effectively cuts the park in half now. So we're not allowed. They've posted a sign, which interestingly enough is the first sign in Seattle that states that there is a park, that there is nudity. So it acknowledges the nudity of the park, but it says you can't be naked in this section of the park. You can only be naked in the bottom section of the park. So interestingly enough, I can take a Lime scooter from Capitol Hill, the neighborhood, to Denny-Blaine. I could take that ride naked. I could take it entirely naked. I would have to get dressed to cross the upper portion of the park, and then get naked at the bottom portion of the park. So it doesn't make any sense.
So, if nudity isn't illegal in Seattle, how are they doing that? Like, what's the legal justification for forcing people to be clothed in that part of this park?
My understanding is either the public nuisance or crime. At first they began by complaining, people are urinating in public. First they started denying us a bathroom. And then they were complaining about people urinating in public. Any little crime that or something that they would perceive as a crime, if someone was slashing tires in the neighborhood at 3 a.m. and ended up being at the park, well, then they would call on that. Yeah. They would they have hired their own private security to surveil the park. The security takes pictures. When I've walked there, I've had them take pictures of me. It makes me feel uncomfortable. It makes me feel like I'm being watched. They've installed cameras, which they regularly take photos of people just being naked, not doing anything wrong. Yeah, it feels uncomfortable. And honestly, it's just telling that as a rich person, a rich neighbor, you could just hire security and make people feel like they need to leave.
Yeah.
This sounds like a bored rich person. Like they need something to do that's not this. They need a hobby or some kind of interest that involves not hurting other people.
Yeah, bird watching.
Yeah, there are so many birds out there. Go look at them.
Collect stamps.
Collect some stamps. Collect some fancy pennies. I don't know.
Yeah.
Something.
Go to CC's on a second Monday.
Go to CC's for Naked Night.
Yeah. Naked Night at CC's is still a thing, right? It's still happening?
Yeah, it started with a group of 30 of us. So just to preface, my friends and I coordinate a Naked Night at CC's, a gay bar in town, and about a group of 20 to 30 of us started it on a Monday night. That was the only day we could get, and it soon boomed to, 100 people on a Monday night, 200 people on a Monday night. And now we get regularly about 300 people on a Monday night, and they're all naked, and it's just a naked social.
Wow. I mean, I guess any bar's a naked bar if you bring enough naked friends. That's awesome.
Yeah. How back to the park? How are you feeling about things now that we have a new mayor?
Oh, I'm feeling really optimistic.
Good.
So, the previous mayor was in opposition to Denny-Blaine. Just so many obstacles. It was a lot. I didn't have any. I was nervous if he won again, but Katie Wilson, who took office on January 1st, she basically ran talking about Denny-Blaine and saying that she's going to, help assist us, uphold our values. And she's amazing, So my hope is, I'm optimistic, and I hope that we get some representation and we have a voice, because this is a queer space that's worth protecting. We became a state historical site this last year.
Wow.
And we want the city to protect that. They should make a statement or something where they acknowledge that this is a queer space.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What can people do that are listening and care? What should they do?
Well, I highly encourage you to follow us on Instagram at Friends of Denny-Blaine, or visit our website, friendsofdennyblaine.org. If you're interested in donating, we have a lot of, we engage in a lot of activities. We just organized a polar plunge. Mm-hmm. We do a lot of landscaping around the park, because it's our responsibility to take care of our park, to make sure that it's here for future generations.
Beautiful.
And through the Seattle Parks Foundation, I see that you can donate in a way that is tax deductible.
Yes, that is correct. Yes, and they're our fiscal sponsor, so they only take a small portion, but to help us do all the organizing, and it's really helpful. Definitely donate through them. We need the funds, and yeah, it really does help us stay afloat to do all the work that we're doing.
If you've ever been a bachelorette at a party at a gay bar, if you've ever gone to a gay bar with a friend and enjoyed your time there, if you've ever spent time in queer spaces and enjoyed it, I think then it's your responsibility to donate to help keep other queer spaces afloat, because you were invited to be a part of our spaces and enjoyed them. So this is a call out to straight people who have the means.
Yeah, pay up, bitches.
Now's the time. Now's the time to pay up.
Any final thoughts? Passing advice? What's on your mind, Jesse? Tell us all the things.
I think that people deserve to feel free in their bodies and shouldn't have to pay money to do so in a private space. You know, they shouldn't have to own a home or go to a country club where you're separated from the public. This beach is a place where the public comes together, and that adds value. To suggest go somewhere with your nudism and be private, it's just a suggestion to disappear. And so you shouldn't have to buy land to feel the sun on your skin.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of other fucking parks, you assholes. Go to one of those. Jesus fuck.
Go to one of the so many other places you have available to you in this world.
Fucking straight people, man.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Jesse, thanks so much for being here. Really, really appreciate it. Again, you said friendsofdennyblaine.org or Friends of Denny Blaine on Instagram. Yeah?
Yes.
Excellent.
Perfect.
Thanks again for being here. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Well, that's all for this mini episode.
It was mini.
It was mini. It was an episode. And it was kind of gayish.
Yeah, so
Remember to the 3 R's: rate, review, and prescribe.
I'm Mike Johnson,
I'm Kyle Getz.
and be butch, be fabulous, stay out of the cold water.